Today's urgent update from Iraq comes with a warning, a surprise, and a powerful message that could shape the future of the Iraqi dinar and the country's economy. Viewers, stay with us until the end because major international financial voices say Iraq is standing at a very important turning point. There is strong pressure to move Iraq toward a stronger and safer money system, but there is also concern that if Iraq makes the wrong choices now, the country could fall back into serious financial troubles that no one wants to see again. News of an expected visit from a high-level U.S. envoy carrying what is being called a special message has sent shockwaves through political and banking circles. Reforms, investment, global cooperation, and the value of the dinar are all being discussed privately. The big question is this: which direction will Iraq choose? Forward into growth and global trust? Or backward into delays and confusion? Stay with us because this situation is becoming more intense by the hour. Iraq's currency reform has been moving slowly, step by step, and for many years experts around the world have debated what the final outcome might be. The Central Bank of Iraq continues to say it is working to protect the nation's currency and meet full international standards. However, many outside analysts often give different opinions, leaving the public unsure about what information is true and what is speculation. Some say the dinar could slowly grow stronger as Iraq improves stability and fights corruption. Others warn that big changes, especially sudden jumps in value, could be dangerous. Iraqi financial leaders insist that reforms must happen carefully, not quickly, because one wrong move could shake the markets. Right now, they are focused on trust, transparency, and improving the banking system. But this change is still ongoing, which means patience is required. The slow pace creates both suspense and rumors. One strong warning from international partners is very clear: weapons must stay out of politics if Iraq wants economic stability. This warning shows that internal conflicts and power struggles could still damage progress if they are not controlled. The message is simple: if Iraq wants global investment, safe banks, and a dinar that can grow in value over time, politics must not interfere with money policy. Advisors say Iraq must rely on strong laws and legal institutions to attract foreign companies and build investor trust. Without this stability, Iraq risks falling back into uncertainty and delays. Today's global economy moves fast. Hesitation can cost billions. Many believe pressure from Washington and growing investor interest mean there is no room left for mistakes. There is also discussion comparing Iraq with Kuwait's money system from many years ago, warning Iraq not to repeat past mistakes. The message being shared is that rebuilding a national currency must be done wisely, not rushed. Kuwait's recovery took careful planning and international teamwork. Iraq is being urged to avoid inflation, protect people's savings, and support healthy growth. Global partners seem ready to help Iraq, but only if Iraq continues showing steady progress and honest reform. At the same time, public commentators disagree openly. Some argue that the exchange rate seen in banks is not the same as the internal value used inside the economy. They warn people not to assume that every dinar note will suddenly become more valuable just because policies change. They say any future currency restructuring would likely remove zeros but not create instant wealth. Their main message is simple: currency reform is math, not magic. Another group of analysts strongly disagrees. They say Iraq's internal financial numbers already point toward future changes. They speak about accounting systems that use different figures than the public exchange rate. They believe these numbers show Iraq's currency could one day reflect a stronger economic position. Their argument is that a country with large oil reserves, gold, and growing investment should not stay stuck at a weak currency value forever. They encourage people to believe Iraq is preparing for bigger financial reporting numbers. Still, none of this is official. These are opinions, predictions, and expectations, not confirmed government policy. When money supply is discussed, another concern appears. Huge amounts of dinar are still in circulation inside Iraq. If any large change happened too fast, the government could face serious financial stress. That is why many experts support slow and careful progress, allowing the private sector to grow, exports to rise, and the banking system to strengthen before making any major currency moves. Iraq's government itself keeps a careful tone, saying progress is happening but without promising anything sudden. With so much at stake, a safe and smart timeline is necessary. Now let's turn to the news that has raised tension even higher. A U.S. envoy is preparing to visit Iraq with what is being called a direct message from Washington. Reports say major political and economic topics will be discussed. This message may include new demands for reform, stronger action against corruption, and pressure to complete delayed policies that investors have waited years to see finished. Many believe the U.S. wants Iraq fully connected to the global financial system, but only if Iraq clearly chooses lawful governance, transparency, and independence. Reports coming from political sources suggest this time there will be real action, not just talk. This growing urgency signals that both Iraq and the United States may be ready to make serious decisions that will shape Iraq's economy for many years. If Iraq speeds up banking reforms, meets global rules, and works closely with international institutions, foreign investment could rise quickly. That could bring jobs, buildings, and stability. But if Iraq delays again or allows internal fighting to interfere, investor confidence could disappear just as fast. The U.S. is pushing Iraq to complete key laws and enforcement systems, especially in banking, currency exchange, and anti-corruption. These steps are needed for Iraq to gain full trust from international banks and markets. Without them, Iraq's development slows and the dinar stays weak globally. With pressure rising, Iraq's leaders now face a clear choice: modern reform or continued uncertainty. This choice affects not only officials but everyday citizens who want stronger buying power and secure savings. Economic advisors inside Iraq say the progress already made shows that major improvement is possible. They point to new technology, better tracking of money, and stronger cooperation with global partners. They believe Iraq is closer to real monetary reform than many realize. Their logic is simple: this level of pressure does not happen without serious plans ahead. Still, government leaders remain quiet about exact outcomes. Silence may be part of the strategy to protect the process until conditions are fully secure. Even more major financial news is unfolding. Iraq is entering one of the biggest investment periods in its history, driven by infrastructure projects, energy development, and foreign interest from many countries. When investment grows, the currency can become stronger over time, but only if reforms stay on track. Countries with high investment are seen as safer financially, which improves their currency reputation worldwide. Iraq wants to build a modern and competitive economy, and that goal requires foreign trust and strong internal discipline. Viewers, here is where the suspense becomes extreme. The final stage of monetary reform is usually the most secret. Officials reduce public comments, give unclear statements, and sometimes release confusing information to protect the process. This is a common method used worldwide to prevent speculation and illegal market activity. One day you hear big changes coming, the next day everything is said to be stable. Confusion becomes a shield until the right moment arrives. Because of this, financial experts warn people not to react to online rumors. They say real truth only comes from official announcements. For now, the public must stay patient and look for real signs like new banking rules, digital systems, international trade deals, and successful audits. These are the true signals of progress. Any currency change, if it ever happens, would only come after reforms are finished and fully tested. There are no shortcuts and no instant miracles. Patience is part of smart financial planning. Iraq must now show strong leadership while keeping political problems under control. This is a major test. If reforms continue smoothly, confidence will grow and global powers may expand partnerships. But if illegal interference or political fighting returns, progress could stall or reverse. The future is not guaranteed. It must be earned with stable leadership and smart decisions. That is why the arrival of a U.S. envoy carries so much importance. The world is watching closely. Global powers want Iraq to succeed, but the path Iraq chooses will decide what support continues. The message being delivered may push leaders to move faster and finish long-delayed reforms. Timing matters because the world economy moves every day. Opportunities do not wait forever. Investors already know Iraq's potential. The country has massive oil reserves, valuable natural resources, and a powerful geographic position. If the banking system fully modernizes and corruption drops sharply, Iraq could become one of the strongest financial players in the Middle East. That potential is too large to ignore. But investors also need confidence that Iraq's currency is protected by law and stable. While hope is strong, uncertainty still surrounds the exact path the dinar will take. A stronger global presence could help Iraq build better exchange markets, digital banking, and easier international trade. This would allow the dinar to be used across borders, a major step toward modernization. But any rate changes would be slow and controlled, not sudden. Responsible growth builds lasting strength. Viewers, the most important word being repeated right now is crossroads. Iraq is at a major turning point in its history. The choice is not only about money, it is about the nation's future identity. Will Iraq become a stable global economy respected worldwide, or will old challenges hold it back again? That is why today's news feels urgent and intense. The visit from Washington could push Iraq to finalize reforms that have waited for years. Whether this message is friendly guidance or strong pressure, we will soon see. But one thing is clear. The world expects Iraq to prove it can control its financial future with confidence and responsibility. There is no room left for delay. Monetary reform is not just about numbers. It is about restoring trust, building national pride, and creating opportunity. Families want safe savings. Young people want jobs. Businesses want strong and fair banks. The dinar is more than paper. It represents economic hope. Viewers, imagine Iraq years from now as stronger, independent, and respected in global finance. That vision feels closer than ever. But visions fade if action does not follow. Today's developments are pushing Iraq to make decisions that will shape the next generation. The right moves now could bring a bright future. The wrong moves could slow everything down. As we continue to follow these events, remember this: nothing changes overnight, but everything happening today matters. Every reform, every meeting, every leadership decision builds Iraq's financial future. That is why the world's attention is on Baghdad right now. You are watching history as it unfolds. Stay with us. Subscribe for updates and turn on notifications because we will follow every meeting, every message, and every sign that shows where Iraq is headed next. The story is not finished. The most important chapter is still ahead, and we will be right here to cover it with you every step of the way. This is your Iraq Currency News Network.